I'm going to say something controversial for the EdTech world. I'm not sold on VR AR yet. Emphasis on yet. We're going to talk about that next on the EdTech vlog. Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Harris, and this is the EdTech vlog. So I'm coming to you from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. I was invited to give a presentation at the BET MEA Middle East and Africa Conference here, 2019 in Abu Dhabi. Very nice conference, great connections with people, wonderful topics that were thrown around. I got to speak a lot about leadership, which is always close to my heart, especially in the EdTech space. But one of the things that I notice quite a bit whenever I do work in the Middle East is that there's a very strong push for two things: STEM, which we've talked about before on this vlog, and ARVR, so augmented reality, virtual reality. There's a very big push. In fact, I would argue that the most innovative and most ingrained ways of using ARVR can be found at schools in the greater Middle East area of the world, more so than I've seen anywhere. And I've gotten the chance to see schools use ARVR all over the place, but it's a major part here. There's a number of very well-known people within the ARVR education space that live and work in public and private schools in this region. So if you're looking into ARVR, start following the people on Twitter from this general region. And if you send me a note later on, I can kind of point you in the right directions. Now, all of that said, and having said this, that I am very cognizant about how popular virtual reality and augmented reality are within the EdTech space. It's kind of like our iPad thing a few years ago and Chromebooks a few years after that, and the wonders of interactive whiteboards. Right now it's ARVR. Everybody is super excited about it. I gotta tell you though, for me, I'm not sold on it yet. And I've made this statement at conferences for the last few months, for the last year, that I love it and I get the immersive experience, but I'm not sold on it. And here's why I'm not sold on it. And I'm saying this not as as something to be controversial and say stay away from ARVR. No, I'm saying it as a challenge. If you're an ARVR person or if you're seeing value in it, prove me wrong. Get me past the yet. Because I think if we can articulate the value of ARVR, it has lasting power. If we don't, it's going to be another flash in the pan that we're going to just rip apart to shreds, find the little pieces and just destroy it, as we've done a number of other technologies over the years. I'm looking at you, interactive whiteboards. So let's talk about VR and AR. So the notion of VR and AR is that there is a more immersive experience for students into various content areas and greater opportunity for access to things they wouldn't have. So the ability to go underwater to see dolphins swimming around, or to go inside the human body through augmented reality, to move things in 3D spaces on a screen that they never would before. Yeah, that's great. Taking a tour of the Cathedral in Notre Dame is a wonderful experience. And right now when I'm recording this, it's about a week past when the fire just happened. So to have those resources and to give those kids that experience is a wonderful thing. But is it revolutionary? Does it change fundamentally what is needed to be learned and how learning is occurring? Again, I'm not sold on it. And the reasons that I'm not sold on it is that we've changed the learning experience through ARVR, but have we changed the learning outcomes? I don't see it yet. Now, the arguments come in a number of places. Well, you're creating greater opportunity. Yes, we are. We're creating greater opportunity for interaction. But my question then becomes, at what cost? So you're telling me that a biology teacher that wants to teach about cellular biology and wants a student to go into the cell is going to take the time to do all of the setup related for an AR activity. And I'm just saying AR. We'll get to VR in a minute. AR activity where they've got the cubes and they've got the phones and they've got it all set up, and a student then has to take the phone and photograph something or put it over something and it comes on the screen and then move back and forth. That's a lot of heavy lift to get to the content stage. By the way, you also have 30 students in the class doing that at their own pace, at their own speed. Is a teacher really going to suggest, okay, we'll move it to the right and go depth and do this, and can you see that? What are you learning? What are you seeing? There is opportunity, but is the cost too high for the learning experience to change? I kind of think it is. Now let's go even further. Let's talk about doing a virtual field trip of your neighborhood, or to the Louvre, or to Mars for a teacher. So there's a heavy lift for the cost of the kit, right? Of the things that you have to buy. So you have to buy all the even if it's just the cardboards, right? The cardboards for the Google thing, or full VR kits, and you could kit out an entire classroom. So let's say you have enough space to kit out enough money to kit out an entire classroom. So you're going to buy 35 of these kits. That's thousands of dollars. Great. Let's say you've done that. Let's just, for argument's sake, do you have the physical space for kids to be able to move around and to be able to look and move the hands and grab things? Okay, so we've already talked about the issues of setting up. What about the operating of having 30 kids in a class simultaneously doing these things? And we have to say they do it simultaneously, because are we honestly going to say, okay, 5 kids go on, the rest of you wait? Why would we only have 5 students on at a time? You might need that at a piloting stage or at a beginning stage, but honestly, you want all of those students on at the same time. So you need to have all of them going. Can you manage that? Can you influence that? And do you understand the learning experiences? Now again, I'm drawing on the negative. Let's go to the opposite side and say there's a positive there, right? If you are able to do that and you're able to get over the cost, the heavy lift, the operational load, the physical space limitations, the technical challenges, all of these items, and they have that fully immersive experience, there is a possibility to increase retention, to increase the affective pieces of learning, to better emulate actions, to enhance creativity. Sure. Can we get there? That's what I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on the can we get there. I think once we do that, yeah, AR/VR could be really powerful, but then I'm also sold a little bit past there. Do our teachers have the knowledge and experience to be able to engage in these products to really draw that out? Which means that these wonderful, so what we usually see with AR/VR is we see examples of amazing. Yeah, well, that's the end. I want to know what's in the middle of the bell curve. What's going to happen in the middle of the bell curve, and what's really going to be learned in that space? And what I'm hoping is that all of you are going to answer these questions for me. How do you get over the complexity? How do you make the learning more tangible and real and accessible by everybody? And how do you know they actually learned? Please don't provide me more snippets of possibility. That's not what I want. Again, I go to conferences quite frequently, probably more so than I should, and everybody's got a VR set, whether you're anywhere. You go to China and there's a million of them. And every one of them is different. Some of them is just a headset, some of it's like an Oculus, some of it's got the little hand things and all of this, and they think it's wonderful. And then you see them moving and they're showing you function. I don't care about function. I'm an educator. I care about learning. So tell me where the learning is coming, not the functional elements. We've had VR for a very long time. We've had AR for virtually the same amount of time. I don't want to know about the function, and I don't want to know about that one dance kid that was able to emulate dance patterns through VR. That's great. I want to know about all the kids that have a better feeling for interacting with that cellular biology, or understanding math problems by seeing them in a new context. Those are the sort of things that I think could help me be sold on AR and VR. So that's the challenge for you, and I'm going to throw this out to all the viewers. Go figure that out. Figure out and help us all as a group sell AR/VR as a transformative learning experience. Because if you can do that for me, then we can all benefit by having that same argument and that same ability to move people forward across all of our schools. Superintendents, other teachers, principals, whatever. Come up with that argument and you'll start seeing more kits in classrooms. You'll start seeing transformative learning going on, but we have to have that answer. We have to understand where the value is And how do we mitigate the challenge of setup and cost, time cost, resource cost, space cost, all of that. Solve those problems, get me over my yet, and I think we'll be in a real great space. Okay? So hey, do me a favor. Down at the bottom of the screen here, you're going to see a couple of buttons. The first one is to subscribe to my channel, where I talk about numerous technologies. I'll talk a lot about what's happening in the industry, things like ARVR. Maybe we'll go in depth. Maybe we will actually look at something related to ARVR, and we'll show the positives and negatives about a very specific experience. So please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk more about these tools and practices. Also, I share a lot of information about research and articles and opinions related to EdTech pieces like ARVR through my Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. My handle is @MattHarrisEdD, and let's start a conversation, and maybe that's the best way for you to convince me. Convince me that ARVR is worthwhile by sending me resources, contacting me, starting a dialogue, challenging me, and we'll go from there, okay? So hey, thank you so much. It's super late in Dubai. I'm gonna call it a night and jump on an airplane to my next destination, where hopefully I'll get to learn a little bit more about EdTech. So hey, thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.